Ixaris is an open payment platform provider, and I'm speaking to John Chaplin, the president of Ixaris Systems and the director of Artemis Edge. The transactions that get through, are they mostly or almost all retail?
No, we do. We have a mix of consumers in our portfolio who are the clients of the banks. Again, I stress that we're not a bank, so we are doing this for the banks, but we manage the portfolio for them. So we have a portfolio of.
So these retail customers register with you on your side?
So we have 1 million of those worldwide in different countries doing business, either sending money or making purchases. But then also we have a number of enterprise clients. We have a very big concentration in travel companies now. We're finding, although we didn't set out to build our platform for that, we discovered that having built it, we started to find that we got lots of travel companies. And how that happened was that consumers started to use our services for travel purchases. After that, some of the big travel companies and travel agents noticed that their consumers were aware of this product. So then they came to us and said, well, rather than do a deal with the consumer, why don't you do a deal with me? So that we now have signed up many travel agents who come to us, and they may be sending money or they may be purchasing on behalf of their clients. So there's a case of where it's a different kind of model from the conventional model. That we started off with consumers who worked it out, and then that migrated to the travel agents and the travel buyers saying, okay, so if it works for the consumer, why can't it work for me? And then they talk to us about how we can change the service, and we make a few changes, but it's only on the platform, so it's relatively easy to do. So that's kind of how our business is growing.
You're playing right in the space where in any one country, almost anywhere in the world, there's always a payment hub, a bulk processing center, a bank-owned consortium doing the processing in that sense. So how do you expect to replace what bank-owned consortiums in each country is trying to do today? Or are you trying to augment it, or do you sell into these bank-owned processing platforms?
So I think the bank-owned sort of mass platforms, I think, do a very good job for what I call conventional payments. So if it's a simple direct debit or a credit or even a credit card payment or a debit card payment, I think they do a relatively good job because they're fairly simple transactions. However, there are a significant number of complex transactions where there are multiple participants, there are different payment types, and I just don't think that's within the capability of these large providers to meet those kind of needs, because they find it too slow to customize their system, they're not flexible enough, and everybody has to agree. So what we do is we really connect to people like that, and we handle a very complex world. But they're transactions which for the financial system you can charge well for.
So which are the countries in which you have the ecosystem sort of built very well and functioning, and you're selling to more and more corporates? So
we are very heavily, we originated in Europe, so we cover all of Europe today, and all of Europe we have full capability in Europe, which of course is 35-40% of the world. We have US clients, and we're just about to connect a US bank. Very keen to continue our discussions with one or two of the major multi-country banks out here in Asia. That's very much on my agenda at the moment. So to give us actual full banking coverage in multiple Asian countries as well. But Asia is multiple countries, but each country is in a way a silo or a closed environment in that sense. So are you driving to make it possible, or are there regulators and are there ACHs who are saying to you that we want to create a multi-country platform? There's been lots of movement in terms of people trying to create interoperability between the different systems already. There's been talks of linking the ACHs in Korea to Singapore, and the debit card schemes and the ATM networks around these places. There are always talks, but nobody ever really makes it happen. And it's very difficult to build a business case to build a brand new system. Our view is that we already have a system that does that, and therefore, again, our model and we are a small company, and we do $50 million turnover. We're profitable, but we recognise that we cannot be PayPal immediately. So we build out our business incrementally. I mean, at the moment, we don't do much selling. People come and knock on our door and say, we understand that your platform does that. Can you help us to solve this problem? So most of it's a great place to be in a company, because most of our selling is reaction rather than having to go out and create leads. But there are a number of banks now in Asia who've talked to us, and it is the banks. So far, we haven't been approached by any of the what I would call bank-owned consortia.
Right. And finally, do you find that in your conversations, do you at all talk to the ACHs?
Not directly at this stage. So what we would do is we would talk, in fact that's not true. I'm talking to one of the big pan-European ACHs about giving them a solution and to extend them into different kind of products. But by and large, we are being driven by banks in the financial sector, banks who have a specific problem. And that will tend to be multi-country banks. It will tend to be entrepreneurial banks who see an opportunity to make a change. So a number of them will be tier 2 players. Tier 2 players tend to be more aggressive, so that we will find that our business will come from tier 2 banks, and it will come from large banks where, although they have a global footprint, their global systems are not integrated properly. So we can integrate it for them.
Right, and tier 2 banks that are hungry to be regional or international. In that sense, your model really is very successful on an on-us transaction basis. The bank acquiring its own customers' transactions and completing it within its own network. Would that be correct to say?
Yes, although it depends. We have a couple of European banks who basically would be in a small geography, and they wanted to expand outside. So how could they do that? Well, they make their banking service available to the platform, and then when the consumers find themselves either through the internet or through an enterprise sale, then their banking service is available. So now they are acquiring or they're providing banking capacity to the clients. So they may not be owning the client relationship. They may own the client relationship, they may not. We will discuss that. But it's an opportunity for that bank to grow its business significantly outside of its own territory, and within certain segments that they particularly attracted to.
Finally, who are your competitors, and what is the differentiation between yourself and the kind of players that come closest to what you do? I'm thinking WorldPay in the UK.
Yeah. So when I look at our competitors, the people that I think of I would think of PayPal, but specifically the PayPal X platform, which is the developer approach, which allows people to again develop applications quickly. We tend to think of people like Amazon Flexible Payments. We tend to think of people like TXVia, who are from the US. They're people who, again, embrace multiple payment types within one platform. And as I said at the conference here, they do not integrate different platforms together. They have one platform that does everything. So we think that is...
And the client belongs to them, basically. So they have a direct ownership of the customer base. Is that the same with yours?
Yeah, that's the base. But in fact, we also operate, because again, one of the beauties of being a platform is that you can be many things. So if the bank in this case wants to own the client, that's also fine. We will just provide a white label processing service.
Thank you very much for explaining your business model to us. Great.
You're welcome.